In 2002, in a quiet suburb of Atlanta, Georgia, Elena Ramirez was folding laundry when her cell phone rang with an unknown number from a local area code. She answered absent-mindedly, expecting a telemarketer or wrong dial. "Good afternoon, this is Mia from Horizon Credit Union. I'm calling about your checking account rewards program update. May I speak with Elena Ramirez?" "That's me," Elena replied, tucking the phone against her shoulder as she smoothed a towel. The representative went through the usual script: new perks, no fees if certain conditions met, opt-in options. Elena murmured agreements, half listening. It was the kind of call she got every few months. "Is there anything else I can assist you with today?" Mia asked brightly. "No, thank you." A brief pause. Then, in the exact same calm, professional tone, "Oh, and one more thing. Keep your toes under the quilt, little explorer." Elena's breath caught. The towel slipped from her fingers. The room tilted. She hadn't heard those words in over a decade, not since the last night she'd said them to her daughter, Sofia, tucking her in at age 8. "Keep your toes under the quilt, little explorer. Adventures wait in dreams, but warmth keeps you safe." Sofia would giggle, pull the covers higher, whisper, "Night, Mama, love you to the moon and past the stars." No one else knew that exact phrasing. Not her ex-husband, who'd left years before, not Sofia's teachers, not the detectives who'd searched fruitlessly. It was their secret ritual, born when Sofia was 4 and obsessed with space and pirates, always kicking off blankets in excitement. Sofia had vanished in the summer of 1995 from a neighborhood playground in Marietta, just outside Atlanta. She'd been playing tag with friends. Elena had stepped inside for 2 minutes to answer the phone, a call from work. When she returned, Sofia was gone. No witnesses, no ransom note, no trace. The police called it a stranger abduction. Years passed with posters, vigils, false leads. Elena never stopped looking, but hope had thinned to a thread. And now this. A bank employee named Mia had just spoken the impossible. Elena whispered into the dead line, "Wait, who is this?" But the call had ended. Her knees buckled. She sat on the couch, replaying it. The voice was young, soft-spoken, no accent that stood out, professional, deliberate. It wasn't random. It was a signal. Elena grabbed her keys and drove straight to the nearest Horizon Credit Union branch, heart hammering. Inside, she asked for a manager.
"I just got a call from someone named Mia about my account. I need to know more about her." The manager checked records politely. "We show a call placed from our call center in Alpharetta at 2:12 p.m. today. Mia Thompson is one of our reps. Is there a problem with the call?" Elena swallowed. "Can I speak to her?" "I'm sorry, we don't connect customers directly to agents for privacy reasons, but if there's an issue—" "No issue," Elena lied. "Just thank you." She left, wrote down Mia Thompson and Alpharetta Call Center, then called the one detective who still took her calls, Detective Laura Hayes, who'd handled Sofia's case from day one. "Laura, it's Elena. I think Sofia just reached out." Summer 1995, Marietta, Georgia. Elena Ramirez had always been careful. She worked from home as a freelance translator 3 days a week so she could be there when Sofia got off the school bus. On the days she went into the office downtown, Sofia stayed with her grandmother or played at the small community playground 2 blocks from their apartment complex, a place Elena knew well, where every parent watched every child, where the swings creaked in the same rhythm every afternoon. That Thursday, July 13th, Elena had a rare in-person client meeting that was supposed to end by 3:30. Sofia's school let out at 3:15. She'd walk the familiar route home with 2 friends, then head straight to the playground if Elena wasn't back yet. It was their arrangement, safe, predictable. The meeting ran long. The client kept asking for revisions on contract wording. Elena glanced at the clock every few minutes, apologized, promised to email the final version by end of day. By the time she left the building, it was 4:48. Traffic was thick. She called the apartment. No answer. Called her mother. No one had seen Sofia yet. She pulled into the complex parking lot at 4:05, heart already racing. The playground was empty except for an older boy kicking a soccer ball against the fence. Elena ran over. "Have you seen a little girl, 8 years old, dark curly hair, wearing a yellow t-shirt with a rocket on it?" The boy shook his head. "Some kids were here earlier. They left maybe half an hour ago." Elena sprinted to the apartment. Door unlocked. Sofia never left it unlocked. Inside, backpack on the floor by the couch, one sneaker kicked off, half-eaten apple on the counter, but no Sofia. She called 911 at 4:12. Officers arrived quickly. They searched the complex, the playground, the nearby streets, questioned neighbors. No one had seen anything unusual. No strange cars, no arguments, just a normal afternoon that had suddenly become a nightmare.
Detective Laura Hayes took the lead that evening. She sat with Elena at the kitchen table while crime scene techs dusted for prints and a canine unit swept the area. "Walk me through it again," Laura said gently. "Everything Sofia did after school." She walks home with Mia and Jordan. They live in Building C. They usually play tag or swings for 20 minutes, then come inside when I get home. I was late today, only by 35 minutes. She knows to wait inside if I'm not here. "Does she ever go anywhere else, a friend's house, without telling you?" "Never. She's afraid of getting in trouble. She always texts me on the landline if plans change." Laura made notes. "Any custody issues? Ex-partner?" "Her father left when she was 2. No contact, no interest. He's in California, last I heard." They issued an Amber Alert by 6 p.m. Sofia's photo, smiling in her school picture, gap-toothed grin, rocket shirt, went out to every news station in Georgia. Volunteers searched parks, woods, drainage ditches. Tips flooded in, sightings in malls, at gas stations, on highways. None panned out. Days became weeks. The playground was cordoned off for a while, then reopened. Elena never went back there. She quit translating, lived on savings and small freelance jobs she could do at 2 a.m. when sleep refused to come. She papered the city with flyers until the ink stained her fingers. Every year on July 13th, she returned to that playground at exactly 3:15, stood where Sofia would have stood, waited as if time could rewind. She never believed Sofia was gone forever. A mother knows. Meanwhile, 40 miles north, in a quiet town called Dawsonville, a girl named Mia Reynolds was learning a new name and a new set of rules. The man who took her that afternoon had approached while she was alone on the swings. Her friends had run home for snacks. He wore a park maintenance polo, carried a clipboard, smiled like he belonged there. "Sofia Ramirez?" he asked. She nodded, cautious. "Your mom asked me to bring you to the urgent care clinic down the road. She twisted her ankle pretty bad on the stairs at work. She's waiting for you there." She froze. "Is she okay?" "She will be, but she wants you with her. Come on, the car's right over there." She hesitated. Her mother had drilled it into her, never go with strangers. But he knew her name. He knew about the stairs at work. Her mom had complained about them that morning. And urgent care wasn't far. She could call from there.
She followed him to a gray sedan, got in. He locked the doors as soon as they pulled out. They didn't go to urgent care. They drove north for almost an hour. Sofia started crying, asking to go home. The man's voice turned flat. "Your mom doesn't want you anymore, kid. She asked us to take you off her hands, said you were too much trouble." "That's a lie." "It's not. And if you tell anyone different, the police will think you're a runaway. Runaways get put in places where no one comes to get them. You don't want that, do you?" Sofia shook so hard she couldn't speak. They arrived at a modest ranch house on a wooded lot. A woman waited on the porch, mid-40s, kind-looking, holding a glass of iced tea like this was normal. The man handed Sofia over. "This is the one. Clean paperwork, no close family looking too hard." The woman smiled down at Sofia. "Hi, sweetheart, I'm Karen. This is your new home now. Your name is Mia. Mia Reynolds. Say it." Sofia stared at the floor. "Crouch. Say it or we take you somewhere worse." "Mia," she whispered. "Good girl." That night, after Karen showed her the small bedroom with pastel walls and a twin bed, after she'd been fed soup and told the rules, no phone, no leaving the yard, no talking about before, Sofia lay under the thin quilt and stared at the ceiling. She was terrified, but she remembered something solid. She pulled the quilt up to her chin the way her mother always did, tucked it carefully around her feet, and whispered into the dark, "Keep your toes under the quilt, little explorer. Adventures wait in dreams, but warmth keeps you safe." It was the last thread connecting her to Elena, the one thing they couldn't rename or rewrite. She said it every night after that, even when Karen and her husband Paul told her the past didn't exist, even when they enrolled her in a new school with forged papers, even when years passed and Mia started to feel almost real. But the words stayed, a quiet rebellion no one could hear. The years between 1995 and 2002 stretched like a long, quiet shadow over Mia Reynolds. Karen and Paul Reynolds raised her with the kind of steady, controlled affection that felt almost normal if you didn't look too closely. They weren't monsters in the obvious sense. No bruises, no locked rooms, no starvation. They fed her well, bought her clothes from the mall, signed her up for soccer and piano lessons. To the neighbors in Dawsonville, they were just another quiet family who'd moved from somewhere up north and kept to themselves. But the rules were iron. Never speak your old name. Never mention a mother in Atlanta. Never ask about the playground or the rocket shirt. If anyone ever questions your story, repeat exactly what we taught you. You've lived here since you were born, your parents are Karen and Paul, you don't remember anything else because there's nothing else to remember. They drilled it so often it became background noise, like the hum of the refrigerator. By the time Mia started middle school, she answered to the name without flinching. She made a few cautious friends, joined the school newspaper, got decent grades. She learned to smile when teachers asked about her family vacation stories, learned to change the subject when someone mentioned missing children on the news. But at night, when the house was silent, the old words returned. She would lie in the dark, pull the quilt tight around her shoulders and feet the exact way Elena used to, and whisper, "Keep your toes under the quilt, little explorer. Adventures wait in dreams, but warmth keeps you safe." It was the only prayer she allowed herself, the only proof that somewhere, in a life that felt more like a dream now, someone had loved her without conditions. She never stopped saying it, not when she turned 12 and cried herself to sleep on what she guessed was her real birthday. Not when Karen caught her once staring at an old flyer in a gas station, Sofia's face, faded, still circulating in some places, and warned her never to look at those things again. Not even when she graduated high school in 2001 and Paul handed her the keys to a used car with the quiet reminder, "You're free to go anywhere as long as you stay, Mia." She stayed. Partly because leaving felt impossible. Her social security number, driver's license, high school diploma, everything carried the name Mia Reynolds. Partly because the fear Karen and Paul had planted was still rooted deep. If you try to be someone else, the authorities will see fraud. You'll go to jail. No one will believe you.
you'll disappear for real. But in the fall of 2001, something shifted. Mia applied for part-time jobs to save for community college. Horizon Credit Union posted an opening for a call center representative. No experience required, paid training, flexible hours. She interviewed, got the job, started in January 2002. The Alpharetta call center was bright, busy, full of young women her age chatting during breaks. For the first time in 7 years, she felt a sliver of independence. During training, they taught the reps how to access customer accounts safely. Name, account number, last 4 of SSN for verification. They showed the search functions, filter by city, state, account open date, even notes on previous calls. Mia realized with a jolt that made her palms sweat that she could search for Elena Ramirez. If Elena still lived in the Atlanta area, if she still banked with Horizon, if the account was active. She waited weeks before trying, chose slow shifts when supervisors were in meetings, typed Elena Ramirez into the search bar one afternoon, heart in her throat. Dozens of results. She filtered Georgia only, Atlanta Metro, accounts opened before 1995. Elena had opened hers when Sofia was a baby. One match stood out. Elena Ramirez, Marietta address, close enough to the old apartment. Account active since 1989. Regular deposits from freelance work. Mia stared at the screen until her eyes burned. The phone number listed was different from the one she remembered, but the name, the city, the timeline, it fit. She spent the next month rehearsing in her head. She couldn't just call and say, "I'm Sofia." That would sound insane. They'd check her identity, see Mia Reynolds, assume she was unstable or scamming. She needed something undeniable, something only Elena would recognize instantly. The quilt phrase, the one no one else knew. She practiced during lunch breaks, sitting in her car, saying the words in the same calm tone they used on calls. She had to make it sound like an afterthought, part of the script, so no one around her would notice anything strange. Finally, on a crisp November afternoon in 2002, Elena's account popped up in her queue for a routine rewards program update call.
Mia took a deep breath, dialed, delivered the script flawlessly. Rewards tiers, opt-in benefits, confirmation questions. Elena answered politely, sounded tired but kind. At the very end, after, "Is there anything else I can help you with today?" and Elena's quiet, "No thank you," Mia paused just long enough. Then, in the exact same professional voice, "Oh, and one more thing. Keep your toes under the quilt, little explorer." She hung up before Elena could speak. Her hands shook so badly she had to sit on them for the rest of the shift. She didn't know if Elena had heard, didn't know if she still remembered, didn't know if the message would reach her or if it would be dismissed as a glitch, a wrong script line. But she had done it. She had reached through the wall they'd built around her and touched the only person who might still be looking. That night, in her small apartment, rented with her own paycheck, the first real space that felt like hers, Mia pulled the quilt up, tucked her feet in, and whispered the words again, not as a plea this time, but as a promise. She had opened the door a crack. Now she waited to see if her mother would walk through it. The afternoon Elena received the call, time fractured. She sat frozen on the couch, phone still warm in her hand, the words echoing in her skull like a key turning in a lock that had rusted shut for 7 years. "Keep your toes under the quilt, little explorer." No one could know that. No one. Her first instinct was to call back the number on her caller ID, the Horizon Credit Union main line. But she stopped herself. If this was real, if this was Sofia reaching out in secret, a direct callback might scare her away, might alert whoever was controlling her.
Instead, Elena drove to the Marietta police station, the same building she'd visited hundreds of times in the first months after the disappearance. Detective Laura Hayes was still there, graying at the temples now, but the same steady voice on the phone. When Elena walked in, Laura saw the look on her face and stood up immediately. "Elena, what's wrong?"
Elena placed her phone on the desk, hands trembling. "I got a call from Horizon Credit Union, a representative named Mia Thompson. She went through the whole script, account updates, rewards program. Then at the very end, she said the exact words I used to say to Sofia every night, the quilt thing, word for word. Then she hung up." Laura's expression didn't change, but her eyes sharpened. "Play it back if you recorded it." "I didn't. It happened too fast, but I remember every syllable." Laura pulled out a notepad. "Tell me everything. The voice, age, accent, tone." "Young. Early 20s maybe. Soft, professional. No strong accent. Calm until the last sentence. Then deliberate, like she was slipping it in on purpose." Laura wrote it down. "Mia Thompson, Horizon Credit Union. We'll start there." She made a call to the credit union's corporate line while Elena waited, explaining it was related to an open missing child case. They confirmed Mia Thompson was a call center agent in Alpharetta, hired January 2002. No red flags in her file. Laura hung up. "I'm going to request she come in for a voluntary interview. If she's Sofia, or if she knows something, she might be scared. We'll go gentle." Elena nodded, throat tight. "What if she doesn't come?" "Then we get a warrant for call logs, employee records, anything that might show a connection. But first, let's see if she'll talk." That evening, Laura drove to the Alpharetta call center just as the shift was ending. She asked for Mia Thompson at the front desk. The supervisor checked. "She called in sick today, first time since she started." Laura's instincts flared. "Can you give me her contact info, address?" "We can't release that without—" "It's regarding a child abduction case from 1995, Sofia Ramirez, 7 years old at the time. The caller may be connected." The supervisor paled, made a quick call upstairs, then handed over a printout with Mia's home address in a nearby apartment complex. Laura drove straight there. The door opened after the second knock.
A young woman stood there, dark curly hair pulled back, eyes wide with something between fear and recognition. She looked like the age progression photos the FBI had made for Sofia at 15, then 18. The resemblance was uncanny. Same high cheekbones, same slight dimple when she pressed her lips together. "Mia Reynolds." "Yes?" "I'm Detective Laura Hayes, Marietta PD. Can I come in? I need to talk about a phone call you made today." Mia stepped aside slowly, closed the door behind them. They sat in the small living room. A quilt was folded neatly on the couch, soft blue, the kind a child might cling to. Laura pulled out a photo from her folder. Sofia at 8, rocket shirt, gap-toothed smile. "Do you recognize this girl?" Mia stared at the picture. Her hands started to shake. "That's me." Laura kept her voice even. "Your legal name is Mia Reynolds. Birth certificate says born in Dawsonville, 1987. Parents Karen and Paul Reynolds." Mia shook her head, tears welling. "That's not true. My name is Sofia Ramirez. I was taken from a playground in Marietta in 1995. A man said my mom was hurt. He took me to Karen and Paul. They told me my real mom didn't want me anymore, that if I ever said who I really was, the police would arrest me for fraud, that I didn't exist anymore." Mia listened, took careful notes. "The phrase you said on the call today, 'Keep your toes under the quilt, little explorer,' where did that come from?" "It's what my mom, Elena, said every night when she tucked me in. She called me Little Explorer because I was always pretending to go on adventures. No one else knew it, not my friends, not the people who took me. I kept saying it to myself every single night so I wouldn't forget who I was. Laura set her pen down. Sofia, if that's who you are, you're not in trouble. You were kidnapped. You were a child. Whatever documents they gave you, whatever lies they told you, you're the victim here. Mia started crying quietly. They said if I told anyone, I'd go to jail, that I was illegal. They lied to control you. We can prove who you are. A DNA test with Elena will confirm it in days. Will you agree to that? Mia looked up, eyes searching Laura's face for any sign of a trap.
I just want to go home. Laura nodded. Then let's take you home. The DNA swab was done that night at the station. Quick, priority rush. Results came back 48 hours later, 99.99% match to Elena Ramirez. Elena was waiting in a small conference room when Mia, Sofia, walked in. Elena stood up so fast the chair scraped. Sofia? Mom? They met in the middle. Elena wrapped her arms around the daughter she hadn't held in 7 years. Sofia buried her face in her mother's shoulder, sobbing. I'm sorry I didn't come sooner. I was scared. Elena pulled back, cupped Sofia's face. You were 8 years old. You survived. You found a way to tell me. That's all that matters. They held each other until the tears slowed. Karen and Paul Reynolds were arrested the next day. Search warrants turned up forged documents, payment records to a now defunct adoption facilitator network that had operated across the Southeast in the 90s. The man who'd taken Sofia from the playground, identified through old phone records, was located in Tennessee, already serving time for unrelated fraud. He confessed quickly when confronted with the chain of evidence. Karen and Paul claimed they'd been told Sofia was a voluntary relinquishment, that the paperwork was legitimate. The jury didn't buy it. They were convicted of kidnapping, conspiracy, and child endangerment. Sentences, 12 years each. Sofia attended the trial, sat beside Elena, spoke when given the chance. I spent 7 years believing I was someone else, believing I was unwanted, that reaching out would destroy me. But every night I said the words my mother taught me. They kept me alive inside. They reminded me I had a home. After the verdict, Sofia legally reclaimed her name, Sofia Ramirez. New documents, new start. She moved back to Marietta with Elena, started therapy, enrolled in community college to study social work, wanted to help other kids who'd been taken, who'd been told their truth was a crime. Years later, she wrote a short piece for a national newsletter about stolen children and false identities. It ended like this. I was 8 when I was taken. I was 15 when I whispered the truth across a phone line. I lost 7 years, but I never lost the voice that tucked me in every night. Keep your toes under the quilt, little explorer. Those words were my map home. If you're reading this and you remember a different name, a different mother, a different life, you are not illegal. You are not forgotten. Someone is still waiting. Reach out, because love doesn't stop looking, and sometimes, after all the years, it answers the phone.